One of the first things you want to do after installing the Venus 1500 software is configure the software to communicate with the display. The process for doing this is to go into the Administrator tab, which is the hammer off to the right of the shell. If this is the first time that you've been in the Administrator program, a window will pop up telling you that there are no displays configured and will prompt you to configure the display and run the display wizard. So go ahead and click on Yes. The first window of the display wizard is asking you whether you want to auto-detect or manually create a display. In this case, we're going to go ahead and choose auto-detect. And since we haven't been into the software before and do not have any network resources configured, at this point we have to go ahead and configure or create a new network. The next screen is asking us what type of network we want to configure. We're going to go ahead and choose TCP/IP networks for this example and click on Next at the bottom. The next dialog box asks us to enter the IP address at the sign, so we'll go ahead and type that in. And we'll use the default socket number as 3001. If you're using a different socket number on your network, make sure that you enter the appropriate socket information. The following screen prompts you to enter how many displays are in your network port. In this case, we have only one display that we're connecting up to. You can see on the right here that you could have up to 240 different displays, so you can enter the total number of displays on your network. We're going to go on and click on Next at the bottom, and you'll see that it's going through a scanning process until it detects all the settings that are at the display that we just scanned for. Down at the bottom, you'll see our configuration settings. It's a 48 by 96 RGB 32,000 colors. The product line is a Galaxy LED and the controller is a version 3. Now up at the top here, you can see that the display wizard enters display 1 as a default name for it. But we can highlight that name, delete it, and change the name to whichever you find appropriate. The next window that pops up is asking us for which time zone we're using our display in. Central time zone is always -6, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that in as the time zone that I'm operating out of. And down below is a checkbox for DST, or Daylight Saving Time. Now if you're in an area that does recognize Daylight Saving Time, as is our case, be sure to leave the box checked to automatically have this display change time for you. Then click on Next, and at this point our auto detection is complete, so we'll go ahead and click on Finish. A window pops up asking us to import animations for this new display that we've configured off the original installation disk. So I'll insert the installation disk and click on Yes. The next window asks which display I want to import those animations for, so I'll just select it with my mouse and click on Import, which opens another window telling us that it's importing those animations off the CD and onto the hard drive. Once the configuration process is complete, the Administrator window pops up, and you can see on the left the configured display. It's a Galaxy 48 by 96 RGB 32,000 colors as my display type. If you click on the plus sign next to it, the display name appears and the right-hand side of the Administrator shows the settings of the display configuration that we just configured. At the top, we'll click on the Network Configuration tab, and you can see that there's a plus next to TCP/IP networks. Here's the address that I just configured with its settings information off to the right. That is all you need to do in the Administrator setup if you're working with a single display. At this point, you can exit out of the Administrator tool and go on to use the other applications.